that, Melanie. This is my favorite topic. As a non-traditional student, I didn't have the opportunity to live on our residence halls, but I live it through all of the students who live in the residence halls because I get to put on a lot of programming that happens to our residence halls, and I just love the community that we're able to build for all of you students who are going to be living there. So you're going to be hearing a lot about housing from Melanie Potts, who's our Director of Housing and Residential Life. So thanks, Melanie, for being here.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I get the coveted post-lunch everybody sleepy time slot. So I have 3 goals today. 1, be short-ish, because we know what happens when people drone on. 2, be moderately entertaining so you don't fall asleep. And 3, it'd be great if you learned something about housing while you were here and you felt a little bit better about coming to join us on campus in the fall. So we'll go ahead and get started. Oh no, my clicker doesn't work. Maria. Okay, well, I know what my first slide is, so here we go.
Next slide, please.
Welcome to Life on Campus is what it would say, and there'd be a jovial group of people very excited about being here at Eastern, which I know is all of you. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, so when I say welcome to Life on Campus, I don't just mean living on campus. I really do mean like your whole life here on campus. So I was an Eastern student. Oh, look how jovial they are. Okay, so I was an Eastern student many years ago. And when I lived on campus for 3 years. Not everybody has to do that, and I know some of you are like, I'm just gonna try and survive the 1 year. But I lived on campus for 3 years for a variety of reasons. 1, I got a killer job, which was being a community advisor. You may have heard of that also as like an RA at other schools. We call it a CA because we like to be cute and different that way. So we have community advisors, and I became one of those, and it afforded me an opportunity to get involved on campus in a big way. But through housing is not the only way to get involved on campus. It provides you easy access to everything that's happening on campus, but there are tons of other great things. So when you come here, you're gonna participate in Welcome Week, you're gonna learn more about all the different clubs and organizations that there are available on campus. And so when I say life on campus, I truly mean the whole thing, okay? It's not just about living on campus. But obviously, I'm partial. I lived on campus. I am now the Director of Housing, so clearly I believe in it, and I wanna talk to you a little bit about it. Yay, my clicker's working. Okay, so as many of you probably know, all first-year students, and we define first year as your first year of college after graduating from high school. So all first-year students at Eastern live on campus. It is required. If you have a green sticker on your little folder that you got today, you're not yet in compliance with that. And I'm not gonna talk about that a whole ton, but if you wanna find me afterwards to find out about that, that would be good. Get it taken care of right away. Because people who are not in compliance get dropped from their classes. And as the story goes, you're coming to Eastern to go to class. So please make sure you get that taken care of. There's a variety of reasons that everybody that is coming in lives on campus or that we encourage you to do so. So, thank you, whoever's operating my slides, because clearly it's not the clicker. Okay, so why live on campus? There's really like so many reasons why I think you should live on campus, but I'm gonna keep it fairly brief because I promised that as one of my goals at the beginning. So the first thing is, this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So you're gonna have mostly forever, to live in an apartment or a house off campus with people that you already know who probably, because we all tend to just hang out with people that are just like us, they're probably gonna be just really a lot like you. They're gonna believe in the same things you believe in, they're gonna approach things the same way, they may be from the same ethnicity or belief system, whatever that looks like. You're probably gonna end up for the rest of your life living with people that are a lot like you. But when you live on campus, you're gonna be living with a lot of people that are not that much like you, and some people that are like you, which is good, you'll have a little natural friend, but you're gonna live with a bunch of different kinds of people, and that is important. Because the other thing that you're gonna do for pretty much the rest of your life is work with people that are nothing like you. And working with people that are nothing like you is interesting and fun and really hard sometimes. So living on campus is a great place to get a jump start on how do I do this? How do I have constructive conversations with people? How do I have difficult conversations with people? How do I learn when it's okay that maybe I wasn't right or when I have to compromise a little bit? This is your chance to do that. Not to mention, when you live on campus, you might live down the hall from somebody from a different country that you'd like to visit someday. Free place to stay. That's a real thing that happens a lot with our international students that are here. You may end up living down the hall from a Super Bowl MVP. We've had that happen before. So there are lots of different kinds of people that you're going to have exposure to. And it's really exciting and fun. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot. The other thing is the connection to campus and to each other. So more and more studies are coming out that talk about when you feel like you belong on this campus, chances are good that you'll stay here and actually get your degree. And one of the best ways to get connected to life on campus is by living here. We have students that commute, and that's great. They're taking the opportunity to probably live at home and save some money, and trust me, I get it. I have 3 kids that will all be in college at the same time, so I'm looking at that like, I get it. So that's a real thing, okay? But the students who live here, most of the activities happen in the evening time. Guess what's not in the evening time? Your class that you just got out of. Probably you got done with school at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you went home if you're a commuter. And that, again, makes sense, or maybe you have a job. But there is a ton happening on this campus every day, pretty much, between the hours of like 5 and 9:30 or 10. And we don't want you to miss out on that. We want you to get connected to each other, and we want you to find your spot. Not everybody's spot on campus is the same. That's why there are like hundreds of clubs and organizations, and that's why there's an outdoor program, and also there's a club for people who like to knit, and there's a club about Harry Potter. There's a little bit of everything going on. So you're gonna be able to find out about that, and most of those meetings and most of the stuff that's happening is all happening after hours. And when you live on campus, you're tied right in there. Plus, we get about a zillion flyers a day that are showing you everything that's available to you. So we'll be putting that information in front of you. So families in the room, the next time you talk to your student after they've moved in and they say, there's nothing to do, that's a lie. Not true. Walk out your door, go to the bulletin board, 100 flyers of things to do, I promise you, okay? So there's always something to do and a way to really get connected, and that's really what we want for you. Access to campus resources. So this is something that I think speaks to the families a little bit more than students, because I know when I was coming in as a student, I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna be on my own, this is gonna be awesome. And then I got here and like, the first couple months were really great because everything was new and exciting, and then winter happened. And then winter kept happening for a while. It's just real. I'm not gonna lie to you or sugarcoat it. Winter is long, okay? So what needed to happen was I needed to have some resources available to me to help me get through that. We have so many different offices that are here expressly to help you get through challenging things. So whether that be an accommodation that you need through our Student Advocacy and Support Services Department, you might want to try counseling for maybe the first time, or also continue that if that's something that you've done before. Or it may be something as simple as getting connected to a job on campus. Maybe funds are getting tight, or you just would like to have some money to do something with. When I was a freshman, I scored this sweet job as an usher at the basketball games. So I got paid to watch basketball games that I was already going to. It was awesome. There are tons of opportunities like this available to you. And it's really easy to get connected when you're living on campus. You're here, you're already doing it, and we can direct you straight to them. We have live-in and student staff in our buildings. So our student staff are on every single floor in the residence halls. And then we have a professional live-in staff member in every building. Their whole purpose is to get you connected to these things and make sure that you're not just left out there struggling. That's the last thing we want. It might be an academic struggle, it might be a social struggle, it might be a roommate struggle, which we're going to talk about roommates for a while in a minute, but they're here to help you. So I really would encourage you to reach out to those people that are living on your floor and just know that their whole purpose is to connect you to things and make sure that you're being successful. This one also speaks to families' safety. So we are locked down 24/7, and locked down, we're trapping you in there. No, that's not what I mean. I mean the exterior doors are locked, and the only people who can open those are people who have been granted access to the building. So that's a good thing. Now, what that does not prevent is you, very kind person out there, person's walking up behind you, and you're like, oh yeah, sure, come on in. That's what we can't protect against, so we ask for your help with that. But we do take our safety very seriously. I'm sure earlier today, there was one of our campus police officers was on a panel that you heard from. They're around and in the halls, more trying to get to know you than anything else, because their focus is really making sure that you feel comfortable and safe here, just like ours is. But they are available to us if ever an emergency situation were to arise. We have staff that's on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's always somebody to reach out to, whether you're in like a medical emergency or you're just uncomfortable with something you saw, whatever the situation might be, we are available to you. And we are watching out for you as best we can. So please know that your safety is of paramount importance to us, and we do anything that we can to try and make sure that you're secure here on campus. And then fun. We do all kinds of silly stuff on campus, and we put on all kinds of events. We really want you to get involved, and we try to do lots of different kinds of things, because we realize not everybody in this room is the same. Not everybody's interested in the same stuff. So if we did only painting nights, that leaves out a full contingent of people like me who are intimidated by a painting night because mine's just ugly. So we really encourage you to talk to your staff member on your floor about any of the things that you might want to do. So if we're putting on a bunch of events and none of them are something you're very interested in, tell us what you're interested in. We have a pot of money that we plan these events out of. And so a lot of times you'll find that we're feeding you, because that's like the lure them in the door, right? Come, have some pizza. We'll feed you, but we're also going to have something fun for you to do. So please participate, engage in that. I promise you it will make it all worthwhile, okay? All right, so next steps. So most of the time when y'all come here in the summer, it's not my job to get you hyped up necessarily. We had the cheerleaders for that. My job is instead to make sure that you know what's next so you feel good and confident coming here in the fall. Because I think people's confidence about coming to school and being away from home for the first time kind of ebbs and flows. I think it's really exciting, and it's also kind of nerve-wracking, and all of that is normal, okay? So you don't have to put on a show about how it's all great and whatever. Like, I understand there are some parts of this that cause people a little bit of stress. And so I hopefully can ease your stress about some of those things a little bit. So first, we talked about this. If you haven't applied to live on campus yet, please do so. We're going to be sending out our next round of assignments here in the next couple days, and then we'll send out some more assignments at the beginning of August, and then anybody who applies later, we'll just kind of plug those in as fast as we can as we get closer to move in. So take care of that if that's not something that you've done so far. Who has already done their housing application? Huh, pretty good chunk, good job. Way to be on it. Okay. So the next thing is review your assignment and get to know your roommate. Okay, it's roommate time. Okay, so roommates. It's weird, okay? You're moving into a space of a certain size. I think we all know what that size is. Probably you've never shared a room before, and now you're going to share it with a stranger. Or with your best friend that you didn't know had certain interesting living habits, okay? It's going to happen to one of you. So here's the thing with roommates. Your roommate doesn't have to be your best friend. Your roommate can be your best friend. Don't get me wrong, that can work. And that's great, honestly, it is. But they don't have to be. Your roommate needs to be somebody that you can have a conversation with, that when they do something that really ticks you off, you're able to say in a respectful way, hey, I didn't love it when you did this, okay? Now, hear me say, do that with your voice, not with this. I've literally seen it. Watch them across the room get that passive-aggressive text. Okay? You're laughing. It's real. And even better is when it shows up on social media. That's the great place to post a weird story about your roommate, okay? Have this conversation with your voice to their face. Now, you know it's not super comfortable? Having conversations with one's voice to one's face. It's not comfortable, and we totally get that. And that's why we have the student staff on the floor, and probably even more so the professional staff in the building. A lot of what they do is sitting in the room as the third person, or first sitting with you and strategizing. I love a good strategy session. I encourage it. Strategizing how you're going to approach this. And then if you're not comfortable approaching it, they're there to be in the room with you and coach you through having that conversation, okay? It is uncomfortable. Also, everyone in this room can do hard things, even if it's uncomfortable the entire time, okay? I know that you can, but it is hard, okay? I'm just not going to sugarcoat that. Also, sometimes you're gonna get a roommate and it's gonna click and it's gonna be awesome. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, housing knew me so well. And really it was like the computer randomly had luck. But other times what's going to happen is you're gonna get a roommate and you're gonna be like, okay. And what I'm gonna ask you to do is first, I know what all of you are gonna do. You're gonna look them up on social media before you have ever reached out to this person. Again, nope, that's what's gonna happen, okay? You're gonna see that person and you're gonna be like, nope, 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 there's no way. Now, I would imagine that all of you have taken and posted an unfortunate picture or have said a thing that you wish could be removed, or you didn't know how weird that thing you said was until somebody pointed it out to you, okay? It's going to happen. You're going to make an assumption about your roommate, and what I would encourage you to do is actually reach out to that person, okay? You don't have to call them, because I know that talking on the phone is like not preferred, but please reach out to that person, okay? Have a few back and forths with them and try to get to know them a little bit, because when I came to school, I got my roommate assignment and I was like, oh, my roommate is from Montana. Well, I'm not from Montana, so my brain did the automatic thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a cowgirl, obviously. And then I called, because we did have to call back then. There were not cell phones, so I called her house, and her dad answered. And he was like, oh, she's not here right now. She's working at the John Deere. And I was like, confirmed. This is a cowgirl. I wonder what it's like to live with a cowgirl. And then when I got there, she had gotten to move in ahead of me because she was doing some extra orientation thing. And I hear rap music coming down the hallway, and I'm like, oh, I must have like a fun neighbor. And I walk into my room, and it's coming from my room. And I was like, well, this is not a cowgirl. There were no spurs or hats. There was none of those things in my room. She was just like a delightful person from Montana who happened to have been born into a family that lived in Montana and who got a job in the evenings cleaning the John Deere showroom, okay? So there are certain things that we all do because it's fun, right? Like, I was very excited to tell everybody about my cowgirl roommate that I was gonna live with, and then it turned out not so much, and it was fine. But we're gonna make some assumptions, and so please do try to get to know that person. The other reason I would encourage you to talk to your roommate ahead of time is another reason about being in a room of a certain size, okay? So 2 refrigerators, bad idea. Don't do it. 2 microwaves, unnecessary. Please do not. In fact, maybe you don't even need one. There's one on every floor. Just use the common one, okay? There are all kinds of things like that where if everybody brings 2, your room is going to be very uncomfortable and crowded. So please, 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 talk about those things with your roommate ahead of time. So now you've talked to your roommate, and you're like, you know, I don't think this is going to work. We get it. Sometimes it's not going to, and that's fine. We do have room change processes in place. So if you have already gotten an assignment, you can reach out to us, and we'll put you on a waiting list. Things are tight, but we can try and move some things around and get you hooked up with somebody that might be a better fit. Or once you get here, there's also going to be a room change process about 2 weeks after the quarter starts. So once we find out who didn't show up and stuff like that, we'll be able to move people around, and then we can get you maybe into a situation that you're a little bit more comfortable with. What I ask is just that you be patient and you give it the best shot that you can, okay? And then as situations arise, again, please reach out to us, let us help you, and let's have a conversation. Okay, I'm done with roommates until I'm not. I'm sure it'll come up again. So room changes, I just talked about that. There you go. Okay, decide on what to bring. Oh, I tricked you, it's a roommate thing still, so talk to your roommate. Also, if you're not gonna have a roommate, or even if you are gonna have a roommate, when we send out the move-in guide, which is gonna be on our website and available to you in August, when we put that up, we have like a list of things that we sort of suggest and things that are a no-no. Hint, anything involving fire, no. You may not have that. That includes candles and stuff like that. So there are things on there that you can have and not have. If you go on the website also, you can see some pretty good schematics of each of the halls, and you'll be able to see some measurements on there. We have an even more detailed one we could send you. So go ahead and take a look at that. But the other thing I would say is when you're coming, if you're renting a U-Haul, I think you've gone too far. And again, you're laughing every year. So again, it's a room of a certain size. And things I would encourage you to do is think about like, what clothes do I actually need right now? So you need a coat, you know, for sure, but do you need like 5? I don't know. At some point, you're gonna want snow boots, but do you need them in September? Gosh, I hope not. You know, like those are the kinds of things to think about. Is there gonna be a time where somebody could send something to you, or you're gonna go home and visit and you could maybe get your winter stuff then? Like there are ways to manage that. So you don't need everything, but you do need things. Anything to make your room comfortable and feel like home. We want your room to feel like home to you. So bring those things, but again, just be mindful about amounts. Okay, the next step is getting your Eagle card. Who has already submitted a photo to get their Eagle card? Decidedly less people. Okay, so here's the thing. Please do that. There's a link in your assignment email. There's QR codes around. Please go and submit your photo to get your Eagle card. It does not need to be a glamour shot. You could literally take it today. It's just on your student card. You'll be fine, I promise. Submit that and get it turned in, and here's why. If you do that, we can program your card ahead of time. If you wait until you get here, you're gonna have to stand in a big long line, and then it might be like a day or two until we're able to get you access to your building. So you're gonna have to be that person that I told everybody not to let in. You'll be the person that's like, I swear, I just got my card. So if you just do it now, it'll all be taken care of. Also, you'll be able to eat as soon as you get here. So please do that. Okay, the next thing on here is communication with your family. So I'll talk to students for a little bit, and I'll talk to families for a little bit. So students, your family has an idea of how often you're gonna talk to them once you get here. And if you don't talk to them, and I'm not saying you have to talk in exact alignment with their schedule, but if you don't talk to them, they're going to call my office. And they're gonna say, I just texted my son, and every time I text him, he always replies, and he didn't reply this time, and I know something bad is happening, and I Really, I don't know what's going on. And then I'm gonna go up to that room at like 9 o'clock in the morning, knock, knock, knock. And you'll kind of from in there, and then you might come and open the door, and you'll be in your jammies still, and you'll be doing this to me, and I'll be like, could you please call your mom? And it's just gonna be uncomfortable for all of us, okay? This is not a good scenario. Now, families, let's be realistic about how much your student is communicating with you. Hopefully, if you're not hearing from them as frequently as you're used to, and keep in mind what you're used to is every day because they live with you. Okay, this is gonna be different now, and it's gonna be hard, but please think about, like, what is reasonable? What do you need from your student? Because it is fair that you want to hear from them and hear how it's going. So have that conversation together before you come here and things feel scary, okay? Have that conversation. Families, I wanna talk to you for another little minute. If you think that your student is struggling, please let us know. I think that sometimes there's that, like, I haven't gotten a text in 5 hours, but sometimes it's real and you're like, something feels off here, and I don't know. And we are here, and we're able to put eyes on your student and have a conversation with them, and we can do it in a non-awkward, your mom called kind of way. Like, we can reach out and we can check in. And I really encourage you to do that if you are concerned. Because the last thing that any of us want is for your student to struggle unnecessarily and for too long. If we can catch something quick, quarters are fast, okay? If you hear something today, hear this. 10 weeks goes by like that. And if you get behind in your classes because you're struggling a little bit, it's not impossible to catch up, but it is hard. And we want you to be successful in your classes. And so please partner with us and help us help you do that. So, I'm not trying to embarrass you about reaching out. I am just saying, be reasonable and know your student, and no one knows your kid like you know your kid, okay? So, now, last thing. Take a big, deep breath. It is going to be okay. There are some of you parents and family members, and I just said all of these things, and it's dawning on you. Okay, we're doing this. We're just dropping off this human that we have raised and that we have been taking care of things for them, and they're just gonna do it. And we also all remember what we were like when we were 18 and 19 years old, and we're like, I don't know, okay. You've done your part. Trust that you've done your part, okay? And then also trust that we are here. And I don't just mean housing, I mean all of the people that you've heard from today. Everybody wants your student to be successful. We really and truly do. And so trust that. They're coming to a good place. I have found family here, and I welcome you all into that family. It feels like that when you're here and when you buy in. It really does. And then students, I bet all of you are in varying degrees of, yeah, I got this, this is no big deal. And for some of you, it won't be. And for some of you, you're gonna be surprised when you get here. It is different than high school. And for me, it wasn't necessarily that the classes were harder, it was that no one was structuring my time. So I was, watching The Price is Right at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was having a cinnamon roll instead of something that was moderately healthy for me, and I was, oh, I like Kit Kats, I'll have one of those a lot, and then I would stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and all these kinds of things. There are different things that are gonna be hard for different people. That's what was really hard for me, was figuring out how to be on any kind of a schedule and get something done when nobody was telling me to do it, and I only had classes for 3 hours out of the day. It was all fun and free time, and I loved it. And also, there was an awareness at the end of a quarter one time. So I just encourage you to think about that. The other thing that I will say to you is you're gonna be in some awkward situations. Just ask for help. I know that that is a hard thing to do, but please, we all just want to help you succeed. I'm gonna harp on that and harp on that. No one knows your problem is a problem unless you tell somebody, and we want to make sure that you're feeling good, okay? So just a couple important dates. Like I said, next round of assignments coming out soon. The moving guide is gonna go on our website in August. An important thing to know about move-in, we do that, everybody has to sign up for a time slot. So move-in is on the 14th and 15th of September, not the 13th or the 10th. It is on the 14th and 15th. We are not ready until then. So please, plan on coming on the 14th or the 15th. Sign up for a time. If you don't sign up for one, one will be assigned to you, so please do that, and make it fit for you and your family. The link to sign up for those will come out in August, around the same time as the move-in guide, so be watching for that. And then make sure you attend the Welcome Week events. There's a lot of really important information, but quite honestly, they do like so many fun things, so please, please make sure that you're attending all of those things. Your CA will be reminding you, you'll have an orientation leader that's gonna be reminding you. Take advantage of that stuff because it's free and it's fun, okay? So that is all I have for you today. Hopefully, we've talked about something that was meaningful, and have a great rest of your day, and I'm sure you've practiced this already today. Go Eags.
Love it.
So well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.